Well, I didn't have to go far. Here's that one on the bottom, and look right above it, another one. And it's even brighter. Look how much that one's glowing. The whole top of the tree is just the organisms. It's amazing to see what's happening. It's amazing to see all these organisms just like that all over the trees and everything, and they're eating them and destroying them. And they're going to destroy a lot more than trees, that's for sure. That's the one that's lower or closer to me. And there's the two of them together on the same clump of trees, if not the same tree. So check them out. They're glowing. The top one is glowing more than the bottom one, but they're both glowing. If this was nighttime, you'd see a big glow right there, because it wouldn't be just that part that would be glowing. There's a lot of organisms on those trees that are just green in color and aren't lit up like that. All the trees around here are full of those things, just full of those things. And just trying to find some adult ones if I can. They'll be black, but I'm trying to find some that'll move, because this is not the time yet for them to get active. In about 2 hours or 2.5 hours they'll be active. But at least you can see the glowing ones. So that's like on the same clump of trees, and I didn't look at that one over on this side. You could just tell that the whole tree is just made out of them. There's so many of them on the tree, look, that it's just them. The tree's gone. And it's a serious problem. These are no longer our trees, look. Every tree in this city is like that. Every one. If they're not glowing, there's still microorganisms that will be glowing very soon. So every tree is just covered in these microorganisms because they're flying around like a thick soup in a fog all over this city and just spreading more and more from one place to the other until all the trees are going to be gone. And just look at them glowing. So that's just all in one little area. Look, the three of them right there. Three clusters not far away from each other. And that's just the three that are visible, that are glowing. The trees themselves are full of those things. Just because they look green doesn't mean anything. Because when you really come closer, you see that it's all these organisms all over, and the whole tree everywhere is just full of them. I'm going to catch one of the big ones on a tree moving. That's what I'm trying to do, to show the real size of these things and how big they can be. Look at that one glowing right there. The whole thing is orbs. I don't know what that is there, but it's all orbs all around the entire area. They're all glowing. So you can tell there that the clusters don't have to be round or anything. Look, there's a round one, and these over here look like bricks. They assume any shape. They don't have to be round. Look at all the orbs moving right there and how fast they're going. That's the whole production line. That's like a factory. And what those orbs are, look, they're flying around too. What those orbs are look how they're flying around. Those orbs are the ones that are being produced. It's like a super fast cloning and recycling process where they just make more of themselves. This is their reproduction rate. I'm glad I got that on video. This is their reproduction rate. It's so fast, it's hard to see. You need to slow the film down to be able to study it properly. And I've done that. I've done a lot of things regarding these organisms, and that's how I know a lot about them, because I spent the time and the effort to learn. And this is what I'm talking about. This is their reproduction rate right there. So they're making more out of that energy cluster, and there's more energy clusters down here. And this whole thing is like a biological factory. The entire thing there glowing and producing those organisms. And just look, it's like a super fast factory. Look at that branch of the tree, a couple of branches of that tree. It's being utilized as a highway for reproduction. Just look at all the movement and everything. This is not lens flare. This is the fog that so many of these organisms moving so fast create around here. And look, they're flying around all over. And those aren't birds. There are no birds that these things eat them and then look like them, because they assume the shape of them. But all the birds in that area for sure have been eaten. Look just how many organisms there are, and look at their reproduction rate. So that whole thing is like a biological factory that just turns them out by the millions. Every hour, millions more of them. So they're breeding right here on Earth. They've set up all these breeding grounds and factories like to reproduce, and they're coming in also from space. I don't know where exactly they're coming from, but they're coming in from space in large cluster formations that are huge, gigantic. But this here is a breeding setup. This is a factory right there. It's the whole area there is a reproduction setup. You could just see the organisms milling around in the trees there on the left, on top, and in the middle. That whole tree is just teeming with them. And just look at the arrangement that they have. This part down here. And then this part over here. You can see that the large glowing part in the right hand side top corner is feeding all the eggs. That's what those orb-like things are. They're like new eggs, and that's the reproduction rate of new eggs. So they're just feeding them out and reproducing them, and those things go fly right off into the air, and they create a milky white fog, just like the way you see. It's hard to see because there's like a fog, and that's not a natural fog, because these things are not natural to our planet. It was never around before. I've been around here 50 years and it's not natural. So I know this is not natural, and these things are not natural to our planet. I don't care where they're from or how they were made, but they're not natural to our planet. Even if they were made in a lab, they're not natural. And this has really gone way out of hand if this is some type of lab experiment that's gone wrong. Look at the reproduction cycle at work. Just one egg after another. You ever see a chicken lay eggs that much? Or any insect on earth lay them that fast? They're just like super fast, and just churning them out. So that entire thing is a factory to reproduce more of those eggs, so they can go up in the air and fly around as microparticles and make that fog, and then land on trees, be grubs, eat the trees, and then after a few stages of development finally turn into large and very large insects that are adult. It's funny, they all look like seagulls because they're all white orbs pretending to be birds, but that's not even close to where the water is, and it's funny to see that many seagulls just flying by, especially around that reproduction area, as if they were birds, but it's just orbs. There are no birds there. The birds have been eaten a long time ago with all those organisms needing protein and everything else, and vegetation as well. Because to maintain a fast rate of development like that, you need a lot of energy. And if it's biological energy that you need, you're going to consume a lot of food. So what those things are doing is consuming all our trees and everything else that's on our trees, like insects and birds and all kinds of things like that. They're just wiping them out, because I don't see anything that can withstand the onslaught of so many organisms that are intelligent enough to make a factory for their own reproduction. I mean, it's a factory right here. Just look. So look how milky the area got. The more they produce those things, the more wind up in the air. Notice how more white and milky gut right there in just a short time. It's gonna get so thick that it'll be like real thick fog. I'll feel like I'm in England or someplace. Look at the fog. This is Toronto, Canada, and we hardly ever have fog. Lately we've been having a lot of fog, but it's not from any kind of a weather condition. It's from these microorganisms creating it in our air. This is not a natural fog for here. And anyone who says that it is lying, because I know that it's not. I've lived here long enough. And this is not normal by anybody's standards to have a factory like that that's producing eggs at that rate. And look at the fog that it's creating, putting them out in the air. The whole thing is a factory. It's amazing. These are smart insects, whatever kind they are and wherever they're from, they're really smart. Because look at what they can do. They can pollute an environment in no time at all. In no time at all, they just made that whole thing milky white, like it's at it. Look at that, how just watch the whole thing change. I'll just leave it there so that you can see the whole thing. But watch the whole thing just get more and more milky as just in a few minutes. Every few minutes it gets thicker, because that's how many of those eggs are being produced and put out into the air. Now, those things got to have some kind of effect on people as well, since they're affecting the trees and the animals and the birds. They got to have an effect on people. So we got to start doing something about this, and fast. Just watch that. I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute or two, just so you can see the fog build up out of like nowhere. There's not a cloud in the sky. Even the moon hologram is out. But I'll wait till later to film it, because it's so faint. I can't pick it up with this camera because of all the fog. I'll have to wait till later. But I took some video and photos with a weaker camera that was able to pick it up. So I hope that by now you see that the fog is at least 2 or 3 times thicker than it was just like 2 or 3 minutes ago. It seems like it gets twice as thick by the minute, because that thing is producing and putting out a whole lot of biological matter into the atmosphere in a very short time. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what's happening around here, and this is what they're doing. And this just can't be tolerated, because this is not safe. This is a total infestation. You can just see all the orbs flying by. They're not birds. Don't even make a mistake thinking they're birds. Seagulls are all at the lake if there's any of them left. Look at that. One orb after another. They just fly by. It's amazing that all the seagulls in Toronto must have gathered in one spot right there, according to them, how many are flying by. And it's nowhere near the lake. It's only in the direction of the lake, but nowhere near the lake. Okay, so you saw it now for a few minutes. Look, the entire area. You see the fog? So that's the story, and that's what I'm talking about. That kind of fog situation building up all over the city. Look at these. They don't even hide. They're right out in the open. I filmed some of these yesterday, but at least yesterday they tried to hide. Today they don't care. They're already on video, I guess, so they're not worried about hiding anymore. So look at the size of those clusters. Those are large trees, and if you see a cluster glowing like that, you know that the entire tree there, all those red spots are them. All around where the clusters are glowing, all those red spots or brown spots are them too. That's the trees they've eaten and settled in those portions. So that whole section, like half the screen, is strictly clusters, and the rest are just all the microorganisms all over the trees in that area. I'm just going to go a little closer, see if I can see anything. So the left side top is the red looking mass I'm talking about, and that's the that's a portion that's of the trees that's gone, and that's just another cluster that's created like a halo around it so that you can't really see it. But that whole area there is shot. Those trees are gone. As soon as they start doing that kind of stuff, the trees are gone. They're all permeated with these organisms, whether on a microscopic scale or in large clusters like that. They're just permeated with them, and there's no two ways about it, and there's no more denying it. Denying it is stupidity. We got to do something, because this is not denying it is not going to make them go away, and it's not going to work anymore.